All right. Let's see. The effective truth. For the great majority of mankind are satisfied with appearances as they are For the great majority of mankind are satisfied with appearances as though they were realities. Niccolo Machiavelli. Machiavelli calls this the effective truth. It is his most brilliant concept, in my opinion. It works like this. People will say almost anything to justify their actions, to give them a moral or sanctimonious veneer. The only thing that is clear, the only way we can judge people and cut away all this crap is by looking at their actions, the results of their actions. That is their effective truth. Take the Pope, for instance. He will sermonize forever about the poor, about morality, about peace. But in the meantime, he presides over the most powerful organization in the world in Machiavelli's time. And his actions are basically concerned with increasing this power. The effective truth is that the Pope is a political animal, and that his decisions inevitably involve maintaining the Catholic Church's preeminent place in the world. The religious verbiage is simply a part of his political gamesmanship, serving as a distracting device. Daily law: judge people by the results of their actions and maneuvers and not by the stories they tell. Yep, I've said this a bunch of times. And that's why I like dogs. They can't lie to you and spin pretty stories. Yep, I've already spoken about this a bunch of times. I don't know what else to say on it. It does not matter what you say, because I am watching what you do. And if the two don't align, you are a liar. Kind of chilly. What else? Let's have a little bit of drink before I hit the road. I'm assuming it's coffee. It is. It's nice and tasty. Yep. Okay. I guess let's hit the road. Very little to talk about. I'm almost out of room in my phone. It's crazy how much space these videos take up in terms of like gigabytes. I guess maybe it's because they film in such high definition. I'm guessing, but I don't know. Because I remember, well, I guess just whatever codec they're using to save these files in. And if they're not compressed, I guess this full-blown file is like gigs and gigs worth of space. Like 30 gigs plus, I think I saw some of these videos are. And they're only like a half hour long, so it's like a gig per minute. That's crazy. Because I remember when I used to transfer DVDs to DivX codec, like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour movies was only a gig and a half size file. But that's a DivX, which is an MPEG-4 format. But I don't know what these phones are doing nowadays. I'm super out of the loop and way behind with technology. So I don't know what's going on. All I know is it's easy to fill up these phones, especially if you're making videos. But I wouldn't be surprised if like maybe this video would cut off before I even get to my destination. That's how full my phone is. That's why I've been making these videos and then uploading right away and then deleting the video. But since that Wi-Fi has been not favorable to me at work, I didn't upload. And I guess maybe if it's still not wanting to be my friend, I'll probably just delete these last two, because whatever. It's just taking up space in my phone. But we'll see. But I'm still holding my gate opener. I tend to do that. I've gone to work holding the gate opener the whole time in my hand. Little bits of musical accompaniment. Excuse me. Yeah, that's why it's so hard for me to trust people. There's a lot of people that'll say things that they really don't mean. Maybe they're just saying it to be nice, because it's the appropriate thing to say. But you really don't mean that, because you don't live it. I think that's why in the Bible Jesus says a lot of stuff like that, like he's the Word made flesh. You know, like the things he says is the life he lives. And there's no space in between the word and the action. And the two flow fluidly together as one. And there are very few people that live life like that. It's probably because most people are just, they want the path of least resistance. You know, they want the easy road. And words are easy to say, actions are a little harder to do. And I really, to be honest, I didn't become this kind of person until I started working in animal rescue. I mean, the perfect example of that is like becoming vegan. I want to say I was vegan well over 10 years. I'm not exactly sure how long it was now. How long ago I made that decision? I mean, I'm not now. But at the time it was because I felt like a hypocrite saying how much, you know, I care about animals. And then still continue to eat animals. Like some animals deserved more love than others. Because it started with dogs. That opened up my eyes to like how closely related we are in terms of consciousness and feelings and just life in general. Like a human is no different than any other animal. And if we hold humans in such high regard, then it made no sense that there's a hierarchy where other animals are deemed lesser than. Like I said, for me, it was dogs that I began to care so much about. But then the realization hit me like, oh shit, like it's all animals that are like this. And then I remember instantly having the thought, oh, I can't eat animals anymore. I can't do that. Because it felt completely hypocritical. So cold turkey, I became a cold turkey vegan. For lack of a better phrase. Like I instantly, that day, decided not to do that ever again. And really, it was like the distancing of me and animal consumption in general. Like the clothes I wore, like everything I looked at as like, how is this connected to the exploitation of animals? So it's like no leather, no nothing. And it was all had to have that vegan symbol on it. And I was like that for, like I said, like well over 10 years. But then after a while, I started to see it a little different. Because then, like, it was like a group that I noticed, like, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them. Not all of them, but always them. They seem to have, in the vegan community, like this air of superiority over everyone else, because like they think that they have this like better than attitude that I started to see, and I started to catch it in myself too. I don't like that. And then I started to see how much of a farce it is. It's like no one's truly vegan, like truly vegan, because even if you're not consuming animals, practically every vegetable you eat is fertilized with animal manure. So there's still some level of interaction between the animal world and the vegan world, but it's so far out at a distance that they don't consider that, and it just makes them just like a comfortable ignorance, like a comfortable willful ignorance. And then plus for me, it was like the health issue, because like I supplementation of certain things that are more readily available through animal ingestion than through vegetables it gets expensive. And I just got tired of the whole thing. I'm like, you know what? I'm over it. It was mostly like that othering of the rest of the world and then the vegan world. I didn't want to be associated with that. And then I was like, the humans are the only ones that really have like this crisis of consciousness. Like a wolf doesn't feel bad about hunting down and killing its prey and eating. It's just something it needs to do because that's what a wolf does. Humans are the only ones that have these weird little sticking points that make them have issues over how they live their life. So that's what happened with that phase of my life. I was like, you know what, I'm not participating. And it's like it became like a trendy thing. And once it becomes a trend, I'm like, you know what, I'm out. Like, you're all doing this now? No. Something's up. Like, for instance, like I know there's a lot of Christians, but it's not trendy to be Christian. You know, it's not trendy to be any one of those religions. But if for whatever reason one of those religions becomes, you know, trendy, you should really take a good look at that. Because something's up if that were to become the case. Excuse me. What else? Oh, let me see. I was in the comments section of, I forget what the post was. Someone was like asking, or just trying to understand, like exactly what Zionism is, or like how Zionism works, or. And I started thinking about that because right now, with the whole Israel conversation in Palestine and all that stuff, religion seems to be dragged into the conversation. And there's a lot of talk about the Jewish community, and you hear the word anti-Semitic being thrown around a lot. But then I had the realization, it's like, when you look at this situation in Israel, and when you hear the word Zionism, really what Zionism is, Zionism, I think, this is just my opinion, I haven't really heard anybody articulate it quite this way, but it's kind of what popped into my head as soon as I read that question. Zionism is nationalism. Zionism is Israeli nationalism hiding under the skin suit of Judaism. Like, they're wearing this because most of Israel is predominantly Jewish. But you can separate the two. You know, a nation and a country is not the same thing as a religion. A nation and a country can be predominantly religious, but that's not what defines the nation. A nation is just a boundary of land and a group of people, like America and the United States. You know, we're a mixture of a lot of different people and a lot of different religions, but I guess to some, maybe they would say America is a primarily Christian country, founded on Christian morals and ethics. You could say that. And then the same thing could be said for Israel. You know, it's primarily a Jewish country founded on Jewish morality and ethics. But Zionism has nothing to do with Judaism. But the tricky part is, like I said, it's hiding under the skin of Judaism. Therefore, it can use all the protective aspects of the the historical persecution of Jewish people. It's like when you say like say for instance, if you were to get into the Israel-Palestine debate and you were on the side of Palestine, they can right away attach the term anti-Semitic to you by saying you're against the Jewish people if you're not for Israel. That's like a trick. Because if you strip away the religion from the conversation altogether, you can't use the anti-Semitic accusation. You know, it's like one time I was having this conversation with my mom, and the dynamic was kind of the same. Like, I forget what it was. I think it had something to do with, like, when the whole, trans conversation was first starting to become predominant in society, and that the question of what is a woman was presented. I got into this conversation with my mom, and I was just explaining, how I feel about the whole situation and how, like, a man is just playing the part of a woman, and that's kind of insulting to real women. I was just kind of going down that road, and she looked at me and says, "Why do you hate women?" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" So the same kind of conversation can be had with the Israel-Palestine dynamic. Except if you were to say, like you're not really in support of what Israel is doing to Palestine, they'll say, "Why do you hate Jews?" It's like, what? Like, that has nothing to do with the conversation. These are two countries, and one is persecuting the other. It has nothing to do with religion. It's kind of like a similar tactic, like to derail the conversation. I thought that was kind of interesting when I was thinking about this. And like that whole situation has nothing to do with religion. Especially if you're going to use the term Zionism, because Zionism has nothing to do with Jews. It has everything to do with just Israel itself. And they want you to forever think of Israel in terms of religion. So there's that. For anybody thinking about that topic, just remove religion from the conversation, because it has nothing to do with it. That's what I told this guy at work. I was like, think of it more, when you think of Israel and Palestine, just think of it like Russia, Ukraine. There's no religion brought into the conversation when you're talking about that conflict. It's no different. It's two nations having an issue over land and borders and stuff like that. No one calls you a slur when you talk about that. Excuse me. That was my thought on that. That is pretty tricky. How you can drag a real sensitive topic into something that doesn't need to be that sensitive. Because it overrides your common sense. That's why I think it's tricky. By inserting that religious angle into it, and using the word anti-Semitic, it completely overrides your sense of right and wrong. Be nice if the Wi-Fi at work is working, so I can upload. Because I think maybe I've seen my phone will hold maybe 3 of these videos before it starts telling me I'm running out of space. There's been a couple times where I forgot to delete the video that I uploaded. So it's giving me that message, and I go, what? And I go to look, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot to delete a couple of these. Okay, so I go and delete them. I'm like, there's plenty of room as long as I just remember to keep deleting, but I haven't been able to upload. That means there's at least one. Yesterday's is just sitting there. And there's going to be today's, and I think maybe I have one more day worth of room. I mean, I could probably make a lot of room. Most of the stuff I film in my camera, I don't upload any of it, like the pictures and videos, but it's like memories. I have like 3 phones, 2 or 3 phones that I haven't gotten rid of because I have all that stuff in it. And that's, my woman's like, well, you should be uploading all this, and she's probably right, but I don't know. What I should do is transfer most of this into my computer. I have a laptop, but I don't even know if the hard drive in there is big enough to hold all the stuff that these phones generate. Or how long that would take to do. Good grief. I'll probably fill up that hard drive real quick. And at this point, there's so much to upload, it'd take forever to upload. The upload speeds are so damn slow, especially if you're not on Wi-Fi or a hard line. Really, I should get like Wi-Fi from T-Mobile, like a hotspot Wi-Fi or whatever it's called. We've been talking about doing that, and we haven't. And I probably should now that I just said it. Get over again. Hopefully my exit is open. Scales are closed. I don't know if that means just because sometimes they're closed and the trucks just don't need to stop, or if they're closed because these lanes are blocked off and you just can't get to it. Excuse me. I don't know. Oh man. I need to take this exit. Oh, fuck. Fuck it, I'm taking the exit. I don't know what else to tell you. And that's what I just did. Whoever puts those cones down are a bunch of morons. I mean, it's city workers. It's not exactly the highest IQ level of employment in the world, but they're just not very bright. Because I'm not doing any work on my exit. I could leave my exit open. Excuse me again. Alright, well, I'm arrived at work. Hopefully, I will be able to upload some video. It's crazy because if I don't use the Wi-Fi, it's like 3 hours to upload this video. If the Wi-Fi is working, 3 minutes. Come on. It's crazy. And what makes no sense to me is like you could stream video, like on a phone call. Like, how is there a difference in the data transfer with streaming a live video and then uploading? It just I don't really understand technology the way it works nowadays, but whatever. All right, well, I'm here. Everybody have a fantastic day, and let's go to work.